Most of my dad's family is still in Egypt, and I'm going back to see them today. I leave on my flight today to go see them for the first time in 18 years. So I am currently in Egypt right now. It is the third week of my trip. I'm in Cairo. I've already done so much and we only have a few days left here. But I wanted to reflect on a few of the experiences that I have had. But the big question is this: where do I begin? This trip has been nothing but amazing, nothing but phenomenal. I'm so thankful for it. Now let me get into some of the details to explain why this trip has been so good. The only problem is I just don't even know where to begin. Should I start with the fact that I hung out with over 50 family members and also got to meet 10 family members I've never met before? Or do I start with the fact that I'm a foreigner here because I've never lived here, but I feel so at home? That's a really weird space I've never experienced before. And I love it, I love it. Or do I begin with the fact that this entire experience has radically shaped the way I view Egypt in a very positive light, specifically pertaining to what I talked about just a few weeks ago before I left. I believe it was the day I left or the day before I left. I talked about some of the things I was expecting, maybe things I was nervous about. And now I just want to contrast that with what I've experienced. It's been such an amazing, way beyond whatever I expected, way beyond that in so many levels. So let's talk about it. But let's talk about this. I am a foreigner here. I was never raised here. I have visited Egypt 2 times in my life. Once when I was 4 and once when I was 13, and now I'm 31. So this is my 3rd time here. But I feel like I am a local. When I travel to Kenya or Thailand or basically anywhere in Asia, you could say for that, and most of Africa, I feel like I stick out. It's very clear to me that I stick out. You walk around in South Korea and I stick out. You walk around in Thailand, you stick out. For me, I stick out in those places. I am a foreigner there. But here, I'm a foreigner, but I don't stick out because I look Egyptian. And the experience is deeper than that. Because I was raised in the culture at home, I understand a lot of the back and forth that happens on the street. So when I see strangers talking to each other, or if I'm at an event with people or a dinner with people, I understand how the cultural dynamics are at play. So I don't just see what's happening on the surface, I also see what's happening underneath. Obviously not at the deepest level because I wasn't raised here, but there's a lot more that I understand than say someone who doesn't know Egypt at all, doesn't know Egyptians at all, or is just visiting for the first time. They're not gonna see all these nuances. For example, one is Egyptians will always say no, or even in a taxi, sometimes they'll say, you don't even have to pay. And what I'm trying to get at is you'll offer them something and they'll say no, but you're supposed to offer it to them 2 or 3 or 4 times, and then they'll say yes on the 4th time. It's a way of the culture. In the taxi, we've had multiple taxi drivers tell us, and if we didn't understand the culture, this would not work. We've had multiple taxi drivers tell us the same thing, where they say you don't even have to pay. And what they're doing is that's a sign of kindness. It's a back and forth that happens when you're in the ride, when you're finishing the ride, or whatever that moment is, where they're happy that you were able to take the ride with them. And they're not really meaning that. So if you don't understand it, you would walk out and not pay, and that could be interesting. But it's this idea that people are going back and forth in the culture in a specific way. There's these courtesies people have. People are very hospitable towards each other. And the main discovery there, the main thing I want to point out is that I didn't feel like I stuck out, which made me feel comfortable anywhere I went. Sometimes when you're in a foreign place and you stick out, you kind of have to have your guard up a little bit extra because you don't want to be a target. So me, yeah, I stick out a bit. I definitely do. Style-wise, the way I talk once I start talking to someone, there's a lot of things that I'll stick out with. And at the same time, there's this very clear and easy back and forth that is happening while I'm talking to someone, or while I'm hanging out at the mall, or while I'm walking around. It just feels very calm. Next one, I'm gonna read a little bit because it's just a lot of information that I tried to condense, so I just wanna be clear on it. But the next major discovery was with family. So with family, I learned so much about my dad, I learned so much about his siblings, and my family as a whole. One major thing was everyone told me that I remind them of my dad, which I love. They told me how I look, how I talk, how I act. They didn't use this word, but I think this is what they meant. My mannerisms were very similar to my dad, which I absolutely love. It's cool to see all these people too who got to hang out with my dad from when he was a lot younger, before I was even born, to be able to say that about me. And I just thought about it right now, like they haven't seen my dad in ages and decades. He passed away 11 years ago, and he left Egypt over 30 years ago. So you're talking about they remembered things that were familiar to them about my dad as soon as they saw me. That's an amazing experience. There was also my grandma. So anytime I went to a family's house, I would ask them if they had old pictures. Old pictures would come out, and one person in particular who stuck out to me was my grandma, my dad's mom. Her name is Aziza. I don't know why, but when I saw her picture, I felt like I connected with her. I felt like I knew her. I never met her before in my life. So I started asking hundreds of questions about her. I wanted to know more about her. I wanted to know how she acted, who she was, how she talked, how she lived, all that. And I heard amazing story after amazing story. One in particular that I want to share that's really touching to me is that one of her daughters had 2 kids, 2 boys, and then she had a set of twins. So now she had 4 kids. But when she had the set of twins, there were some complications. And sadly, a few days after she had the twins, she passed away. My grandma was devastated. People said very rude and nasty things about the kids because, at least in the time or the culture, I don't fully understand it. But they basically said, like, get rid of the kids because who's gonna care for them? Their mom is gone. And my grandma is the one who got up and protected those kids. She took them in. She made sure they had the best. She made sure no one said anything bad to them. She protected them more than her own kids. She went above and beyond to make sure they were taken care of until the day she passed away. I love that. I love that. And that's something I'm about, empowering unprotected children, giving them the opportunities, the protection, and the opportunities they need to thrive so they can become successful people in whatever capacity that might be in their world. And I was blown away by that. All of that filled me above and beyond. Seeing the hospitality of Egyptians, seeing how they live, seeing how they work, seeing how they move around. Life starts at 6 p.m. here. People don't even start getting up at 10 a.m. I mean, people are up and moving, but truly, like, life starts, it is up and moving 24/7. Maybe in this video, you've heard honking in the background. There's no way of getting around that. That is happening everywhere you go. And finally, I have such a positive view of Egypt after this experience that I hope to come back here every year. I could see myself spending a month to 3 months here every single year. I absolutely adore my family. I am so thankful to see them and be with them. And now I have this experience where I feel a lot more confident too about getting around and moving around in Egypt. I'll even say this, one thing that's amazing about Egypt is that Uber has literally revolutionized my process for getting around. The thing about Uber is, like, I'll break this down quickly, is like Uber offers a few things that if I just go out there and get a taxi, that can get complicated. So number one is it pulls the ride up for you and it shows you the price. The fact that it shows you the price as soon as you start is a game changer, because one taxi driver might charge you 20 pounds, another taxi driver might charge you 30, and one might realize you're an American trying to charge you 50, 80, or 100. So as soon as I get in the car, there is no speculation, there is no risk, no one has ever asked for more money. We give a tip, but no one's ever asked for more money. That's amazing. Number two, when the driver pulls up, you see their rating, you see how they've done, you see their work, you see their car, you see their picture, and you have the opportunity to rate them. So there's this accountability in the system that before, with some sketchy taxi driver, they could take me anywhere and it could be weird. Third thing is this: with Uber, you have the ability to watch where the driver is going. So you know what route they're gonna take. Sometimes they take a bit of a different route, which is okay. But overall, if I was in the city alone and I didn't have this kind of connection, it would be something that would be uncertain during the whole ride. So Uber has revolutionized this. And also, the fourth thing is Egypt is very much a cash society. I have not used this much cash ongoing day after day in the last like 5 to 10 years. The amount of time I have to think about pulling out money, having change, all of that is a lot. But in Egypt, it's a cash society. And Uber in the app allows you to pay via cash, which is awesome. So I could book a ride, everything, and then I pay at the end of the ride in cash, which is awesome. I absolutely love that. So I don't even know why I got on that tangent, but Uber has been an amazing, revolutionary process for me to feel comfortable and confident as I go around in Egypt. And the best part is a 5 to 8 minute ride could literally cost $1.10, $1.25. That is so cheap. If I even think of Uber back in the States, it cost me $10. So we tip generously, we make sure that the driver's taken care of, and it's easy to get around. It is really, really easy to get around in Egypt. I think the most we have paid thus far for a ride is about 100 pounds, which is about $8 to $10. No, it's not even $10. 150 pounds would be $10. So it's not that much money. If you happen to be someone who is planning a trip to Egypt and you stumbled upon this video and you're watching it to this point, these are the few things I would tell you to look out for. Use Uber, it's amazing. Be very careful if you go to any major tourist spots for people who are trying to help you. It's one thing about Egyptians I absolutely love. It's one thing about Egypt that I'm absolutely not happy about, which is they are very helpful. But when you are in very touristy spots, the help is actually there sometimes just to get a payment from you. So they'll help you we'll help you take photos by the pyramids or by the Sphinx, when at the end they won't give you your phone back until you give them a tip or some type of cash. So just be mindful of that. Egypt is very much a tipping society, and you tip everyone. There's a guy helping you park, you tip him. There's a guy helping you with your bags, you tip him. There's a guy helping at the restaurant, you tip him. And I'm overgeneralizing right now, like at an extreme level, but if you are in a tourist spot, truly, like if you were my friend, my brother, a family member, or someone close to me, I would tell you be extremely careful. When I went to the pyramids to ride a horse or a camel or whatever I was gonna get on, at the moment they told me it was 700 pounds. My friends told me I shouldn't pay more than 50. Do you see that difference? You got to be careful and mindful that sometimes they're like, we'll help you out. But especially in those tourist spots, I wouldn't take the help. As much as you could avoid it, or just be mindful that they might be asking for a tip at the end, all that, it's something to keep in mind. But beyond that, every other experience here is great. Also, don't show up to any rural city without knowing someone. I ran into that. I've never seen that before. Don't know why someone did that. But there was a guy from England who showed up in the middle of a very rural city, my dad's city, with no one and didn't speak the language. And he just was gonna get hustled because the taxi drivers are like, it's just a big ordeal. So anyway, those are the things I would say be super mindful of. But beyond that, enjoy the food, enjoy the culture, enjoy the people, enjoy the nightlife, and try everything you can. All right, so those are my tips if you are planning on coming to Egypt. And I think that's all for now. I am really happy. We have a few more days. Tomorrow we're gonna go to the Red Sea, which I'm so hyped about because we were supposed to go for 4 days and it got canceled. But Egypt has been amazing. I'm so thankful for it. I want to spend more time with my family. I'm even more driven to do well in my business and my life so that when I come here, I could be with them and spend time with them. I can't wait. I literally can't wait. I'm so hyped. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions at all, please let me know in the comments below. I am not a travel guide or a travel expert, but I will tell you this. If there's anything I could help with that I know about, I will let you know. So drop in the comments below. And Thanks for watching. Truly, I appreciate it every single time. If you hit that like button, I get feedback that you got value from this video. So hit that like button, comment, and if you want more content, subscribe. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.